I have to tell you that in my family it was not a very good relationship to my stepfather. So I said to myself, well, I, I'm gonna hit the road, you know. But I went to Paris the first time when I was about 14 or 15 with my first stepfather, which I liked very much. And so I said, that's the town where I want to live. I want to live in France. I really love this place. And you know, I got nothing to lose after all. So when I was 17 and he hit at me again, my second stepfather, not the first one, I said, well, that's it. I'm going to go. So I went to Paris, and first I kind of found people that I knew a little bit, but they were not there, you know, like always. So I went to the church, the Danish church, was on Champs-Élysées backwards. Nobody can see it from the Champs-Élysées. And I said, well, can I sleep here because I don't know where to go? And they said, no, that's out of question, little girl, he said to me. You know, it was a priest, you know, and he said, a pastor, as they say in Denmark, because I get is Protestant. And because I was not brought up with any religion, because my grandfather was a communist, so I said, but can I sleep? I'll do, you know, I will wash the floor, I will do everything, and please. And he said, no, little girl, that's not possible. So I said, what am I gonna do? So he made a phone call, and he got me a little room on the top, a top room, you know, in a place called Rue Pavé. And so I stayed there. And then I walked around in Paris, and I came to Saint-Germain-des-Prés. And I said, well, everybody looks like me here, you know, a little bit, you know, like not very bourgeois, but a little bit artist. And so I sat down there and had a little cup of coffee because I didn't have any money. And there was this girl called Karina, a woman she came up to me and she said, well, would you like to do some pictures for the fashion pictures? I said, yeah, okay, but she said, don't worry about it, it's really fashion, and we're coming with people, and you know, we gotta cut your hair and make makeup and all that. And I said, well, my granddad always told me not to speak to strangers, but anyway, I was a stranger. So I did the pictures and it was published in Jour de France. It doesn't exist anymore, but that was a very, very famous magazine at that time. And then she said, I can't pay you right away. So I said, but I'll give you some pictures. That we just did, and I'll give you some addresses. So she gave me the pictures and the address, and went to Le Journal Elle, it still exists, and met Hélène Lazareff, who was the director at that time of la directrice of the magazine. And she said, well, yes, okay, you know, I will see, and I'll make some pictures of you to see if you can do it. And I got the cover. I don't know how, but I did. And then there was this lady with a big hat, like a smarter hat than mine, but called Coco Chanel. I didn't know her name in the beginning. And then she said, little girl, I heard you said in makeup, in English, because I didn't speak French, that you want to be an actress. I said, yeah, that's what I want to do. But, you know, I have first to get money, so I can pay a teacher to learn the French language. And she said, yes, but what's your name? I said, my name is Anne-Karin Bayer. That's my real name. She said, Anne-Karin Bayer. Oh, no, you cut the Bayer off and you called yourself Anna-Karina. So I said, that sounds great, ma'am. So I became Anna Karina. And then Jean-Luc Godard saw me because on both sides of Champs-Élysées, on one side I was the My Soap, Mon Savon girl, and the other side I was Palmolive girl. And then Jean-Luc Godard saw that, and he asked me to come and see me to do a little part in a picture. And he said to me, I saw him in an office, and he said to me, you have to take your clothes off. And I said, I will not take my clothes off. I said, no way. And then he said, well, you did it in Mon Savon, in Palmolive. I said, no, no, no. There was soap up to here, and I had a bathing suit underneath. And they don't, it's not true, that's in your mind. I said, so I left. So one day I got another telegram from still Jean-Luc Godard saying, this time it might be for the first part. I said, that must be a joke. It's somebody, you know, who's, well, he wants just to I don't know what he wants from me, but I don't believe that he can't do. And the guy said, it's signed Jean-Luc Godard. You know, he just did a film, it's not out yet. It's called Breathless, A Bout de Souffle, with Jean-Paul Belmondo and Jean Seberg. So I said, and now he's doing the little soldier. I said, is that the guy with the dark glasses, you know, with the sunglasses all the time, like sunglasses? I said, yeah, that's him. So I said, but I don't understand, because, you know, I just walked out of the office saying, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do it. He said, but that's him, you have to go and see him. So I went to see Jean-Luc Godard in the same office. And he said, he looked at me like that, like, you know. And I said, what's about? And he said, it's a political film, a political film. I said, but I know nothing about politics, I mean, you know. And he said, well, that's not the point. I said, but do I have to take my clothes off? He said, no, no, not at all. That's how I got involved in The Little Soldier. Well, the very first time I met him in the office with the dark glasses, you know, I kind of thought he was because nobody would wear dark glasses at that time. Sunglasses, yes, but not dark glasses. So I thought that was a little bit strange, you know, because it's kind of you don't feel very, you know, don't have the contact, you know. But well, you get used to it, and then when we fell in love, and of course he'll take his glasses off, and I saw these beautiful eyes, you know, like almonds, yes, and very sweet brown eyes. And when Jean-Luc saw Tonight or Never, that's the name of the picture we did, it's a comedy, and I got very good critics for it too. And he said, would you like to do A Woman is a Woman? Une femme est une femme. And I said, wow, with Jean-Paul Belmondo and Jean-Claude Brialy. What a dream. That's too good, it's too big. And of course, we didn't have, like with Jean-Luc, we never had a script, you know. So, but we had the dialogues every morning. So, you know, you can kind of guess, you know, we knew it was a comedy anyway. I knew I was the girl, of course. And one was, you know, my kind of husband, not because we're not married in the film, but anyway. And what I know also is I want a child. And so we did the film, and then I got the prize in Berlin for this film. And that was, of course, a big, big push, you know, like. And I was so young still. I guess he wanted to do a film about a woman who wanted a child. Voilà. And I guess he kind of worked on a script that he gave to me, to, what's his name, De Broca. And he did another film. And then he said, well, I'll do my film about a woman, this woman who wants a child. But before he engaged me, he saw a lot of actresses in France. All the actresses, you know, a little bit around, the actresses, famous actresses. And when he saw this film of Michel Deville, Tonight or Never, that he said, I want you to do the film. And so that was a lot of fun, of course, because I got this prize in Berlin afterwards. And with Jean-Paul Belmondo, that I already admired because I saw him in Breathless, and Jean-Claude Brialy. So, of course, it was a big thing for me to do this picture. I really loved American musicals since I was really a little girl. Because my first stepfather, called Benny, he would buy, you know, all the records, you know, and so of course I was a fan of Judy Garland and like, with, of course, Gene Kelly and all that. I loved all those pictures very, very much. But on the other side, I loved all the French music, like, you know, Edith Piaf. A Woman is a Woman is the first film he did in color, yes. Yeah. In technique, you know, he was very proud of that. Mais aucun en ombrage, parce que je suis très